Katie, and welcome back to my booktube channel. Welcome to Bookmas Day 15. I can't believe we're already on video number 15, but today's video is the 12 Days of Christmas book tag, and this was originally created by Lizzie Loves Books, so I will link her original video in the description for you guys. But this sounds super cute, and some of my answers might be a little bit of a stretch, but hopefully this is still fun. So let's jump into it. So obviously all of the prompts go with the different things that are sung about in the 12 Days of Christmas song. So the first prompt is for a partridge in a pear tree. What is your favorite standalone? I really couldn't choose my favorite standalone, so I picked one fantasy and one romance. My favorite fantasy standalone is Heartless by Marissa Meyer. It's an Alice in Wonderland retelling. I feel like it captures the essence of Alice in Wonderland so well. The ending literally broke my heart and I was not ready. There's different plot twists. It's a villain origin story. It's basically the origin story of the Queen of Hearts. I'm literally obsessed with it. And then my favorite romance, that is a standalone, at least as of now, is The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. I really need to look up how to say her name. I feel like I haven't pronounced it correctly in like any of my videos, but I've mentioned it in so many for Bookmas because I read it in November and I fell in love with it. Number 2 is Two Turtle Doves. What is your favorite OTP or your favorite ship? And I definitely have to go with Brendan and Piper from It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I read that in November and fell in love with them. I've read Tessa Bailey books before, but that one hit me so much harder than her other ones. I don't know what she put in that book, but I was obsessed. I really tried to take my time and enjoy it. I reread a bunch of like passages as I was reading. I cuddled with the book when I was done reading. I couldn't get enough of Piper and Brendan. I loved them both individually and I loved their individual journeys, but watching them together was just so good. I love them together so much and I was not ready for that book to end. Number 3 is Three French Hens. What is your favorite trilogy? And I realized that I really haven't read complete trilogies a lot. The only ones I could think of, which are still some of my favorites, don't get me wrong, but the ones I thought of were the Caraval trilogy by Stephanie Garber, which I think is a given. I talk about Stephanie Garber probably in every single one of my videos. And the other trilogy, which is actually the first one I thought of, is the Infernal Devices trilogy by Cassandra Clare. And that takes place in the Shadowhunter world. And they're so good. They're actually like the prequel novels, I think, to like the Mortal Instruments and all of that. But they're done so well. And there is like a love triangle in there, but it's probably the best love triangle I've ever read about because you have two best friends in Will and Jem who love each other so much. Like they are the other person's favorite person. And then they both fall for Tessa. So it's like a complete love triangle and it's done so well. You also get action and paranormal creatures and friendships and different family vibes and it's just so good. And the epilogue of the last book is one of the best epilogues I've ever read, if not the best epilogue I've read so far. Number 4 is For Calling Birds. What is your favorite fictional beast or creature? And I feel like my answer for this one is kind of a cop-out. I don't know if you would consider this a beast or a creature. I'm considering it a fictional creature, and I'm going to go with any of the Fates from Once Upon a Broken Heart or the Caraval trilogy. I just love them so much. They're so interesting to me. They're like these immortal creatures with different unique abilities. Like each one has something completely unique about them and there's so many we still haven't learned about. I feel like Stephanie could expand on that world for years to come. I hope we get to meet more of them in the sequel to Once Upon a Broken Heart. I would love that. We already met a few more in Once Upon a Broken Heart and it just made me so happy. They are some of my favorite fictional creatures. Number 5 is 5 golden rings. So pick 5 golden books. And I'm assuming that this is supposed to be like 5 of your favorite books, like 5 of the books that are like top notch. So that's what I'm going to go with. And it was really hard to pick these, but the first 2 you probably already know. We have Kingdom of the Wicked and Once Upon a Broken Heart. I am obsessed with them, talk about them all the time. For number 3, I have to go with It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I mentioned it in the first prompt, but I am obsessed with this book and I love it with all of my heart. I feel like for number 4, I'm gonna say The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Another one that's so good. It's like so hyped up because everybody loves it and it's totally worth the hype. I feel like I haven't seen anybody dislike that book. And I feel like for the last golden book, it's really hard. I'm torn between The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata and The Spanish Love Deception. I'm going to go with The Wall of Winnipeg and Me because I've already mentioned The Spanish Love Deception, but I have so many golden books I could choose from, so I'm just going to try to keep it at that. We are now up to 6 geese a-laying, or in other words, a rotten egg. Pick your least favorite book. And this is by far Spells Trouble by PC and Kristen Cast. This is my go-to book anytime I have to hate on a book. I disliked this so much. It is in my most disappointing books of 2021 video. I go on a whole rant about it and I just dislike it so much. Even looking at the cover makes me angry. So I'm just going to cut myself off here before I go on another rant. Number 7 is Swansea Swimming. Pick a book with water on the cover. And I'm going to have to go with Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. That is one of the few books I read with water on the cover and with it set in an ocean. And I loved it so much. This piratey setting, so good. I am currently looking for more pirate book recommendations if anybody wants to help me out. But it's so good. The banter is amazing. The romance is amazing. There's action, the world building. I just can't say enough great things about that book. Number 8 is Maids a Milking. Pick a fictional food you would love to taste. And this one's really hard because I feel like most people would choose something from Harry Potter. But other than that, I can't really think of a fantasy world that has food I would like to try or unique enough food that is not something you could already have in the real world. So instead, I'm just gonna go with some I would love to try food from that person if they made it for me. I would go with any of the food from Kingdom of the Wicked. There's so much cooking in that book and just listening to the things that Amelia is making with her grandmother and imagining what it smells like and tastes like. I would love to eat something from their restaurant. Number 9 is Ladies Dancing. What is your favorite dance between characters? I really thought this one would be easy for me, but I could not think of a single time characters dance together. I don't know why. I need to pay more attention to that trope, I think, because I feel like so many people adore those scenes, especially in fantasy romances, and I cannot think of anything other than Rhys and Feyre from Akamath, and that's the only dance scene I can think of. But I loved it. Don't get me wrong. It was a great dance scene, but I also can't think of any more. So please also let me know in the comments your favorite dance scene between characters because I apparently need to read a lot more. Number 10 is Lords a Leaping. What is your favorite book to movie adaptation? I feel like most of the books I've read have not been adapted into movies. At least not since I was younger. I mean, there's Twilight and Divergent and The Hunger Games, but other than that, I don't really have anything that was turned into a movie after I had read it. So I'm gonna go with The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I feel like those were great movies. I loved them so much, especially growing up. That was the very beginning of my love for reading, and I just still have a soft spot for those movies. Also, I guess if you count some books that were turned into TV shows, I feel like I'm going to count those. I really loved Shadowhunters, which is an adaptation of the Mortal Instruments series. I know that it's very different from the books. I haven't read all the books, but I've heard some people were annoyed that it's very different from the books. But I think if you separate it, and make it its own thing, I had a great time watching that show. So I loved that. And the same goes for Shadow and Bone on Netflix. I adored season 1. I felt like the castings for all the characters were perfect, and I loved it so much. I'm really excited to see what they do with season 2. I struggled with this next one even more. We have 11 Pipers Piping. What is your favorite book to movie adaptation soundtrack? And when I tell you I don't listen to soundtracks, I mean, like, I can't think of a single one. The last movie soundtrack I remember listening to was for New Moon, you know, like the second Twilight movie, New Moon. I remember I was obsessed with that soundtrack. I had it on CD and I would listen to it over and over again. I don't know why. I really loved it for some reason. So I'm gonna have to go with that one because I genuinely cannot think of anything else. Last but not least, we are at 12 Drummers Drumming. Since it's the end of the song, what is your favorite book ending? I feel like I'm going to have to go with Heartless by Marissa Meyer because that book caught me so off guard with that plot twist at the end. I was not expecting that. It broke my heart. And I just remember, like, my jaw literally dropped when it happened. It caught me so off guard. And I'm not going to say that I loved the pain that I went through, but the fact that I was so invested that it hurt me that deeply, I feel like means that it was great and it was a great way to end the book. So I'm going to have to go with that one. I hope you guys had just as much fun with this video as I did. If you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. And if you do subscribe, please click the notification bell so you know when I upload next. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to see you in my next video.